The next leading question would go to NACTA, because recently we have seen that NACTA has also been very, very proactive, and they have taken quite, very effective steps. So probably the similar kind of question would Iqbal Sahab go to you, that what steps specifically has been taken by NACTA that has been assessed, that has been verified, vetted by FATF, and proved very helpful to complete the requirements of FATF.
Thank you, Ataullah Sahab, and good morning, everyone. Well, actually, I was in NACTA until very recently. I'm in FBR now, but since I've been mostly in NACTA for the past 3 years, so I'll be definitely taking questions also and commenting on the progress that NACTA has made. NACTA, as we all know, is the lead agency in the CFT efforts in the country. It coordinates amongst various authorities and organizations and pursues the CFT efforts. In the last 2 to 3 years, there are many steps which NACTA has taken, some at its own and some, of course, for the purposes of compliance of the action plan, the FATF action plan that we have. The first and the foremost is the terrorist financing risk assessment. This was the first standalone terrorist financing risk assessment that was undertaken by NACTA, of course, in coordination and in consultation with the other stakeholders. And that risk assessment identified the sources of funding for terrorist organizations, the channels which they use for movement or transfer of funds, and also assessed quite a large number of terrorist organizations, 41 altogether, which are for certain reasons relevant to Pakistan, at what kind of terrorist financing threat they pose, whether that is high, medium or low for that matter. The next thing is, and that terrorist financing risk assessment ultimately translated into the national risk assessment, the MLTF risk assessment that we all have in hand, and that is basically the guidance document for the risk-based supervision of the financial institutions or for the risk-based investigations by the law enforcement agencies. The next is the interagency coordination, which is primarily the mandate of NACTA, and in that NACTA has taken many steps. I'll just discuss 2 of them. One is the National Task Force on CFT. That is a task force which comprises of 28 federal and provincial departments, agencies, including intelligence agencies, including the supervisors of the financial institutions, be that the State Bank or SACP for that matter. And that actually provides the policy input and also oversees what kind of steps are being taken to mitigate the terrorist financing risk in the country. Second is the multilateral MOU that has been signed amongst 14. It was signed until recently amongst 14 law enforcement and intelligence agencies, and just the other day the provincial home departments have also been added to that. So that multilateral MOU, as a matter of fact, provides the platform for exchange of information also amongst the agencies and authorities, and also for mutual assistance whenever there's a need for that. The third area that NACTA has worked on is the policy on financial investigations by law enforcement agencies that was approved by the Prime Minister of Pakistan in January 2019, which requires not only proactive financial investigations, but also parallel financial investigations in all terrorism cases. Then NACTA has, of course, come up with a number of more steps, for instance, guidance, SOPs, directives, which had been issuing from time to time with regards to investigating the wide range of TF activities, be that the cash smuggling, narco trafficking, hawala hundi, or anything else for that matter, be that the COVID, the threats in relation to MLTF in the COVID scenario, be that any transnational threats with regards to terrorist organizations, so on and so forth. Capacity building of the law enforcement agencies has been undertaken by NACTA for the past 3 years, and more than 800 officials have been trained so far. TF database is a new thing that has come up. So NACTA now have a terrorist financing database, and that actually is a system which provides the real-time information about the terrorist financing investigations and all its stages, which includes the prosecutions also and the convictions also. And if there is an international cooperation center issued, that also is taken into account. The public availability of the list of proscribed persons organizations, that is something which NACTA has undertaken, and that you all are, I think, very much aware of that. So all these steps altogether have helped not only foster the CFT regime in the country, but has also helped us address quite a large number of actions in the FATF action plan that Pakistan has in hand. Thank you very much.